going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we're taking a look at the Bitcoin price chart. We'll peek over there at the altcoin market and we'll peek over there at the stock market. Well, because once again, the Dow Jones Industrial Average has set a new all-time high today. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is struggling a little bit over here. So I've been trying to dive deep into this over the last day or two to say, hey, is this correction done with Bitcoin? Picking out what's going to happen on the short-term time frames is incredibly difficult. I could totally be wrong, and I don't put a high level of confidence on what I think is going to happen in the short term. But when I look at what kind of structure is happening here on this pullback with Bitcoin, I do see clear waves. Let's see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by an A, B, C, right back to wave 4. Typically, that's going to result in another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would make logical sense if we do wave counts on all of this. Hey, what are we doing here? We might be doing wave 4, the big pullback for Bitcoin in here before we head off into wave 5. Either way, my level of confidence on what will happen in the short term is very low, but that's the things that I do see. I do see 5 waves to the downside, and I do see that we got stopped out right here by wave 4. Typically, that results in 5 more waves to the downside, similar to this size, which will get you to about 56,000 or so. And that seems reasonable to me, maybe even lower, maybe down to about 54 and a half. Somewhere in here seems reasonable to me on a pullback for Bitcoin. But what's interesting about all of that, I've got the total altcoin market cap over here, and we can see that the altcoin market is in a all-time high. While Bitcoin did touch its new all-time high at $67,000 and has since pulled back, the altcoin market has not given up and has continued to march higher. I think this is just the beginning of this trend that's going to be happening here. I think we're going to see a lot of excitement, just like you see people shilling whatever altcoins they're FOMOing into at the top over there on Twitter. We'll see a whole lot more of that. At least that's what I've seen at the peak of the craziness in this market. Everybody's FOMOing everywhere and realizing Bitcoin's not the place where they're going to make a lot of money. Nothing rattles people more than looking at their portfolio, not seeing much happening, looking on Twitter, looking at content creators, everybody pitching all of these altcoins that are doing absolutely fantastic and telling them it's not too late. After it's already gone up really high, it's too late. The most dangerous words in crypto are it's not too late. If anybody's telling you it's not too late, believe me, it is. But moving on from that, right here, I've got the total market cap of all of crypto. Over the last several months, I have put this chart on the screen many, many times. I created so many thumbnails with the big green arrow pointing back up into the all-time high. And as you can see right now, the total market cap of all of crypto is done. So I made those thumbnails so many times that I was, and that was during the time period where everybody's screaming, just admit it's a bear market. And, for it to finally do it, it's vindicating to have that actually happen. But I still expect the total market cap to continue pushing higher for the explosive final move that happens in this market. But thankfully, we're there. We've gotten beyond that point. This was the big, massive rejection area, the 4.236 based on the rally prior to capitulation. And we're above that level right now for the total market cap of crypto. I've compared that to the Litecoin chart back in 2014 and 15 multiple times to show how that phenomenon does occur. And after a big knockback back to the 1.618 fib level, after hitting that full extension, you can see how we can get back to this level. And it can take a minute to really have to work it out in here before that final move comes for the market, which I think that's where we're at right now. We're kind of working this out. The market's really kind of boring right now. I mean, I'm sure if you're looking at anything, I mean, for the most part, most of the market's relatively boring, and you can see that on the right side of the screen. Half the stuff is green, half the stuff is red. The altcoin market is less than a quarter of a percent away from not moving. It's negative 0.21%, nearly not moving. And so long as we're in here until things finally let go, we may just be experiencing that for a while until it finally gets that shot out of there. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm looking at the market. It's really just mixed today and relatively flat for the most part. Bitcoin looks like it's in some type of kind of small correction, but now waiting for that big moment to come for the total market cap and the altcoin market cap. One of the things we discussed last week is what's going on with the stock market, in particular with the Dow Jones Industrial Average. I'd compared it to what the big run up in the 1920s looked like compared to now. And as you can see, this new all-time high being set right here does appear to have similarities of what, happened in that final breakout. And we can look at where the Dow is right now in relation to that big bubble that was printed up in there. And we can see we're all in this level, right? And if we're going to get a big breakout, if that Dow Jones gets as high as it got before the collapse of the U.S. economy, that's going to put me on pretty big edge. But a lot of this adds up. A lot of this makes sense, right? We continuously talk about one more big explosion to happen in this market, and then that's the end of the market. It's not anything new. That's something we've talked about for quite a while back in here, right? And it's something I've laid out for a long time. At the same time, we're looking at one final rise for it to get as high as it did before the Great Depression kicked in for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So there's one more rise to get equivalent to that, and then there's one more rise in here for us to do what we've seen happen before. And so it's just kind of a mix of both things, right? It's an exciting time in the market. It's literally the most exciting time in the market if it plays out like that. But at the same time, after extremely exciting moments comes the not so fun moments. And so I just share you the insights into my own brain of what I'm thinking about heading into those types of moments, right? Like that's going to be ridiculously exciting. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be amazing. But I also go into it with the mindset knowing that after things get extreme, and they get euphoric, what happens afterwards? Large, long corrections come afterwards. But I think we're right on the brink of the incredibly exciting moment, but I won't get caught into a mindset. I saw somebody post this about an altcoin over there on Twitter saying, what if this coin just never has a bear market? And that is never an option for me. It is always in the back of my head that a bear market is around the corner, that at some point the fun times do end, but I'm really looking forward to the moment that's more close to the future, right? But I go into it with the mindset of what comes afterwards. Just a look into my brain. Otherwise, a quiet day out there in the market, and what I'm expecting really is probably this is going to work its way around here for quite a little while. And then, like magic, if it does explode, like we've seen happen in these situations where it does just explode and it's a whole market going, what's the most likely thing to happen is that some type of narrative, some type of story, some type of thing to make everybody FOMO in will happen at just the right time. So I think we're kind of just patiently waiting for the players behind the scene to take care of the narrative that they need to unleash before us. But otherwise, I think we're, for the total market cap, it's probably just going to be boring for a minute, working this area out for a little while until they can finally go. And so on that note, we'll keep this video relatively brief. I figured we'd take a closer look at what's going on with the current price action of the market, as yesterday's video was really focused on the big picture of everything. And I hope you had an opportunity to catch that. I put quite a bit of work into that, really counting out the Elliott waves of where the market is right now. And since I hadn't made a video since Thursday due to coming home from my vacation, I figured today we'll just look at the market and what's going on. And really, it's just quiet out there. So tomorrow, I think I've decided I'm going to focus more on XRP. We're going to take a deeper dive into the XRP price chart tomorrow. But otherwise, I think we're just waiting right now for that big exciting moment to come in the market. And fortunately, this market has played out the way we've been looking for it to play out, with the total market cap going all the way back up to that 4.236 extension, and it has been able to clear through it, and now it's just working out that price zone as we've seen happen in the past. So all good signs, just boring price action. But all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this one. If you're looking for something to do, of course, you can check out my website over here, which is bcbacker.com. This is a course that I put together where I deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs, the different altcoin market cycles, tying them all together to show how those alt seasons have worked in the past with Bitcoin bull runs. I talk about my personal exit plans in here and teach you how to set up your own charts and your own indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. I also talk a lot about mathematics and percentages, why those are so important to me. And I do have a market update in here as recently as September 30th, which is available to anybody enrolled in the course and anybody who newly enrolls in the course. And you can check out all of this educational content over here on bcbacker.com. You can follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker. And I want to thank you so much for watching my channel. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.